Hey friend, I'm really excited to talk to you today about a unique solution to the common childcare problem that I'm really surprised to have found myself using. So I start on a new childcare adventure at the time of recording this video tomorrow. And I'm doing something really cool that I never imagined myself doing. And I want to tell you about it, one, because I'm excited, and two, because it might help you as you're thinking through your childcare options. I'm Katie Huey Harrison, founder and editor-in-chief of Undefining Motherhood. We're an educational site and community equipping you with the tools that you need to do this mom thing your own way. And we are about to embark on a new adventure. So right now, at the time of recording this video, it is the middle of 2022. So what that means is we are coming out of what has been a really crazy time in childcare thanks to 2 years of a pandemic. And now we have a mass labor shortage. What that looks like is moms leaving the workforce disproportionately because they don't have adequate care for their children. Daycares have crazy long wait lists because they can't find trustworthy employees and retain them. Nannies are next to impossible to come by. Finding reliable childcare is harder right now than it has ever been. So when our nanny told us she was retiring, I knew I had to get creative. Undefining Motherhood is like my third baby. I have 2 human babies and I have this amazing business that I love, but it takes a lot of time and it's not something that I can do while Jack's in school and Branham's napping. It just requires more time than that, so I need help. I was talking after Branham was born to Danielle, my lactation consultant, and she was telling me that her au pair was about to go back to Germany at the end of her 1-year term. And I was like, au pair? I've heard of those before. What exactly is that? And she said, oh my God, you've got to try it. An au pair is a State Department sponsored cultural exchange program, just like having an exchange student in your house from another country. What happens is you bring someone age 18 to 26 from another country to live in your home, be a part of your family. You learn about each other's cultures, you learn about each other's traditions. In our case, we're also going to practice learning about each other's languages. You bring that person into your house for 1 year, and the visa can be extended for up to 2 years with mutual agreement from both parties. You pay them less than you would pay a nanny, but the entire thing tends to cost more than it would cost to pay a daycare. And you have an extra member of your family for a year who is providing childcare. How cool is that? I'm not gonna lie, I was so skeptical that I actually told my husband that night in this super joking way, like, hey, you know what I was thinking we could do to help with this childcare issue? Let's just get an au pair. I laughed, he laughed, we had a good joke about it. But you know how sometimes you say things out loud and you're saying them as a joke, but there's like this kernel that sticks in your head and you're like, there's something here. I need to think about this. I need to learn about this. So that's what I started to do. Well, what that turned into was me texting Danielle constantly, asking her a million questions. And here's why. I couldn't find a whole lot of information online. I wanted to learn more about what it even means to have an au pair, what it looks like, what does it cost, what does this day-to-day look like for families. But there wasn't a lot out there except for what came directly from the agencies who connect families with au pairs. Now, don't get me wrong, these agencies are invaluable in this process because the au pair program is a State Department program where au pairs have to get a special visa to come for 1 to 2 years from another country and do a very specific job. There are very specific requirements that need to be met. Working with an agency is key. But I wasn't ready to get an au pair yet at this point. I just wanted to learn about it. I wanted to know what this thing was. What is this program? What does the process look like? And I couldn't find that information. That's why I'm telling you about my beginning to this journey today. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep documenting it because I want moms who are considering this possible solution to hear about what it was like from my end. So I'm talking to you today about how I decided to get an au pair. I'm going to do another video where I talk to you about the process of finding and matching. I'm going to do another where I talk about preparing for her to arrive. And then you know what? She's gonna be here. She's gonna be here in my house, moving in to live with my family tomorrow night. And I'm so excited. So I started looking and I started learning. And I thought, there are a few reasons this feels like it might actually be a fit for my family. Here were the things that got me hooked. Number one, live-in childcare. I always thought that sounded insane. And obviously you have to have the right home size to be able to accommodate an au pair. Here's what you need. You need a separate bedroom for that au pair. You don't have to have a private bathroom, although I personally think it's really nice that I'm able to offer her a private bathroom, but that's not a requirement. That bedroom has to have two things. One, a lock on the door from the inside so that she can keep anyone out of her private space, which fair enough, as it should be. And number two, adequate fire exits. Those are the requirements. Then you have to be able to pay. There's an upfront fee. This is the finder's fee for the agency, along with paying for the au pair's flight to the US, paying for all of her documents that she needs to procure. She's getting a special visa for this. So there's a lot that goes into that. Paying the company for training, because they do get training before they leave their home countries. You pay all of this. The upfront fee using the company that we used around this time in mid-2022 was about $9,000. So that is like the bulk, right? This is the big thing you have to be able to swallow if you're going to hire an au pair. Now, you can pay it as an upfront fee, or there are payment plans so that it's something you can pay for throughout the entire year that your au pair is here. But if you're comparing expenses to a daycare, a nanny share, that is the big bulk expense. Then you want to consider things like expenses once the au pair is here. So the payment is approximately $200 per week, which is way cheaper than a nanny. And the reason it is so much cheaper, even than daycare for that portion, is because you're providing all of their living expenses. You're allowing someone to live in your home. You're covering room and board, obviously. You're covering utilities. You are covering food. This is currently the biggest expense with the inflation that we have going on right now. And then you're also covering things like travel within the bounds of taking care of your children. So if you live in a commuter city like I do in Atlanta, your au pair probably needs to have a car. So you have to have a car and you have to have car insurance for them. Now you can trade off with your car, or you can have a car separately for your au pair. We were able to get a used car that my mother-in-law used to drive, and that's what our au pair is going to drive. So that has been really wonderful for us. That is one of the trickier parts. If you live in a big city with public transit, then you're probably going to pay for, say, a Metro card, but that's going to be the big bulk of your travel expenses. So what made me want an au pair beyond, okay, live-in help? I used to be really opposed to live-in help, but here's what I was thinking. How cool to be able to get the unique experience of someone who is going to come and teach my family and my children about a different culture, and we're going to be able to expose her to the same thing. So we have an au pair who is coming from Spain. So she is going to work with Jack on his Spanish. I am actually working on brushing up on my Spanish as well, because I would like to be able to converse with her better and to improve my knowledge of that language while she's here. Of course, we consider it incumbent upon us to help her learn English, and one of the priorities of the program requires that you have your au pair in 6 credit hours of courses in the 1 year that they're here. If they're here for 6 months, then it's 3 credit hours of courses. So she's going to take English classes at a local college, and she's going to practice her English with us and in her daily life in the US, which is going to be a really big benefit for her when she returns to Spain and starts working there and really wants to be able to have honed English skills, because that's something that's so valued really across the world. So we started getting excited about this idea. We normally wouldn't want someone to live inside our house, but this person is not exactly an employee. Yes, her job is to care for my children for up to 45 hours a week. However, we also have a real responsibility to her. during this process. And we want to learn from each other. We want to get to know each other. And she would be like a big sister to my kid, because the requirements say that an au pair has to be between 18 and 26 years old. So it's not like you're hiring a seasoned nanny who has been a nanny their entire career. For your children, if your children are older, they're really more like a sibling who's also a caregiver, an older sibling, but someone who's got the energy to get down and dirty in the dirt, to play all of the games, to be creative. That really interested us because honestly, we're parents in our late 30s and we're tired and we don't feel like we are as good at being as interactive for as long, frequent periods as we really want to be. So how cool to be able to bring that into our house and have that here. We also love the flexibility. My schedule allows me to only schedule our au pair for 38 to 40 hours a week, which leaves us with an extra 5 to 7 hours each week for extra childcare. We're giving her a schedule ahead of time, but we're updating it each month. So if we want a date night, okay, we can go on one. If we want to go to a ball game, hey, we've got childcare. We can do that as long as we pre-approve the schedule with our au pair and we keep her under her 45 hours a week. So things started to sound really interesting here. Then we started thinking about where we would want an au pair from. For us, the cultural exchange was the key factor in making the decision to move forward with this process. I love languages. Husband and I love to travel. We travel as much as time and finances will possibly allow. It is one of the loves of my life. I never traveled outside of the US until I was in graduate school. And when I studied abroad in Rome, Italy for graduate school, a bug hit me and I wanted to travel constantly. Well, this is an amazing way to help my children and my family become global citizens who have broader perspectives, who understand what things are like in a different country, in a different culture, but still sticking to our work schedules because we're bringing it into our home. And that really, really sold me on this process. We love this idea because we are so interested in the cultural exchange. We cannot wait to learn from Maria, our au pair, and we're so excited to be able to introduce her to foods, to cultural events. My thing I'm most looking forward to showing her is actually tailgating, because we live in the South and college football tailgating is a big deal, and that's going to be so unique and different to her. And I can't wait to be able to show her that type of thing and then to learn what are the traditions she misses from home? What can we bring into our house? What can we go visit and learn about later by actually seeing it firsthand? This is the thing that really sold me on this process. Now, I do want to make a caveat here. Not everyone is as excited about the cultural exchange, and that doesn't necessarily make having an au pair a bad option for those people. And here's why. Some au pairs don't want to be like a member of the family. And it's your job in the interview process to parse out what do the different candidates want and does that align with the needs and desires of your family. I interviewed one candidate who I told the next day that I wasn't interested in moving forward, and she said I actually wasn't interested in moving forward either, because we want someone who is going to be like a member of our family, who we're going to be able to have this really strong cultural exchange with. That's not what she wanted. She wanted to be able to work her 40 to 45 hours a week, and then she wanted to be able to go off and make friends and have fun. And certainly we do want our au pair to make friends and enjoy her time here, but we also want her to spend time with us. We want it to be something that is enriching for both of us. And the ways in which some au pairs want that enrichment is different from others. And so finding the right match was really important. So if you're sitting here thinking, I mean, the childcare sounds good, the price sounds right, we have room in our house, but I don't want someone who's gonna sit down and watch TV with my family at night. I don't want someone who's gonna have dinner with us every night. That's actually still something you can do. You just have to find the right match for you and for that. But that's not what we're planning to do. And that's part of what makes me so excited to be able to let you follow along on this journey. Because quite frankly, I don't totally know what I'm getting into. Today, I'm feeling pretty excited, and I'm also feeling pretty nervous because tomorrow night, I'm going to the airport and I'm welcoming someone new into my family. How crazy is that? It's nuts. I can't believe this is happening. But it's a choice we made. It's going to be an adventure of a year, and I can't wait for you to come along on it with me. So here's what I want you to do. 2 things. 1, put your questions in the comments. What do you want to know about this process? Because I'm going to bring you along on this journey with me. And when I do, I want to make sure I'm telling you the things that you want to hear while documenting this experience and exactly what it's like. So tell me what you want to hear in the comments. Then like this video and click that subscribe button because that's going to alert you when I post new videos. And for the next year, I'm going to update you on this process. I'm going to tell you what it's like. I'm going to tell you how it's going. I'm going to bring my au pair in, and she has agreed to talk to me and to share with you as well. It's going to be a really fun journey, and I can't wait for you to go on it with me. Thanks so much for joining me today and on this entire road we're about to embark on. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.